So, Joe Manchin, still reminding us that he's Joe Manchin. So the bottom tweet there says, "Are you supportive of the $15 minimum wage?" "No, I'm not," Manchin said. Quote, "I'm supportive of basically having something that's responsible and reasonable. In my state, that would be $11 with inflation, etc." He's against a $15 minimum wage. He can't help himself. Manchin gonna Manchin, isn't he? Now, I want to give you a little bit of hope. Because the fact of the matter is, Manchin initially said, absolutely not, I'm not in favor of a $2,000 check. Then what happened is, Corbin Trent, who, by the way, was the executive director of Justice Democrats, so I happen to know him, and I know he's a hard worker and everything, he ran a bunch of ads in West Virginia, basically calling out Joe Manchin for saying no $2,000 checks. And Manchin got a tremendous amount of pressure, specifically from West Virginia, from voters in West Virginia. And what did he do? He flipped. He's like, did I say no, I'm not in favor of the $2,000 checks? What I meant was, what happened was the sun was in my eyes and me and Craig was down by the Safeway with Greg and them. And what I was, I kind of like it, but I'm thinking about it, but I'm probably for it. I didn't say I was against it. I mean, I'm going to do the thing that the voters want me to do because that's what I'm going to do. So, in other words, Manchin will go like this. Where the political wind's blowing. That's what Joe Manchin will do. That's what he's going to do. Another example. Jim Justice, who's the Republican governor of West Virginia, former Democrat, by the way. Now he's a Republican governor of West Virginia. He did a CNN interview. By the way, he's getting a lot of national media attention because West Virginia is actually doing the vaccine rollout better than any other state. Okay? So it's just a long story, but he didn't sign a contract with Walgreens and CVS because there aren't that many in West Virginia, and the state government took a hands-on approach. They're vaccinating way more people than every other state. So anyway, he comes out and says, yeah, we need to do a bigger number for the stimulus checks and for a COVID relief bill, because in a time like this, that's what you need to do. You need to spend, and if you spend a little too much, if the deficit goes up, if the debt goes up a little bit, who cares? That's a lesser evil than having a depression. So he comes out in favor of a bigger stimulus. So Joe Manchin's like, who, me, bro? I want a big stimulus too. That's what I want. That's what I always say. So Joe Manchin will always be one of these. Which way is the wind blowing? So he flipped on the $2,000 checks. Now he's in favor of the bigger stimulus bill. So if there's enough pressure put on him over the $15 minimum wage, I do think he'll cave on it because he's caved before. So, but the most important point is this. This is why your theory of change matters so much. Because what would Obama do in a situation like this? I'd call Joe Manchin into my office and I'd say, "Good sir, I think it'd be nice of you to work with us on this. But if you don't work with us, I understand. You got to look out for your own political career." That's what Obama would do. And then Joe Manchin would say, "Fuck off," and he wouldn't be for it. Now, there's already some good signs coming out of the Biden administration, because now you have Kamala Harris was doing rallies in West Virginia, trying to rally people up. I don't know if it was on the stimulus or if it was on the $2,000 checks, but like they went to his backyard and were like, "We're going to put pressure on you this way." So if that's their theory of change, if Biden acts like Lyndon B. Johnson, if Biden acts like FDR, where you apply that political pressure and let them know, hey, I could be your best friend or I could be your worst enemy. You tell me which. If you work with us, my approval rating's 60%, son. What's yours? Way lower than that. I'll make sure you get reelected the next time you're up. I'll go there and campaign for you myself in West Virginia. So you want to be my best friend or you want to be my worst enemy? If you're my worst enemy, I'll make sure you lose. So if that's the approach of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, then they're correct. And then he will flip on issues like the $15 minimum wage. But right now, he ain't there yet. Now, let's dig a little bit deeper on this. He's actually not technically wrong. Like, the $15 minimum wage is very different state by state. Like, $15 in Wyoming is not the same thing as $15 in New York City to be specific. It's just not. In Wyoming, $15 is worth way more than in New York City. That's obvious. So in an ideal world, what you should do is have a minimum wage law that's basically a living wage law, where you calculate either by state, but it'd be better to do it honestly by county or by voting district. You calculate what a living wage is in that place, and then you make it that in each respective county, whatever it might be, and then you chain it to inflation. So in rural Wyoming, it might be $9.25. But in New York City, it might be $27. So that's a way to do it that makes more sense economically. So he's not wrong. However, that's not on the table. That's not what's on the table. And if you're telling me it's $15, it's a living wage, $15 an hour, minimum wage, chained to median wage growth, which is what it is, that or nothing, of course I take the $15. No question. No question. So he's going to have to be moved on this. And he's going to have to accept that, yeah, it might be a little high for West Virginia specifically because of the cost of living, so on and so forth. Now, by the way, if you ask me, hey, how much is this going to affect unemployment? I answer, it might affect it a little bit. Unemployment might tick up a little bit, but it won't be overwhelming. It won't be a crazy amount. Australia has about the equivalent of a $15 minimum wage there, and their unemployment rate is the exact same as ours. So to the extent there is an increase in unemployment, it'll be manageable, it'll be negligible. So of course I'd take that 15, and he needs to be pushed on this, okay? And fingers crossed that it goes the same way as the checks, and it goes the same way as the size of the stimulus package. Joe Manchin in some ways is the most powerful person in the country right now. And he's the last person that we should play nice with. He should be treated like our enemy. And you make him bend to our will. And then if he does, okay. It's a carrots and sticks approach. If he does, he gets a pat on the back and all's hunky-dory. If he doesn't, metaphorically go nuclear. So let's go, baby. We can't have him stonewall all of the necessary positive change that we need. I hope Biden and I hope the other Democrats continue with that correct theory of change, because that's the best chance we have of actually winning.